when we talk about special guests, everybody's supposed to know I am a brother that love the 1998 Jamaican World Cup campaign. And for me, the World Cup campaign started in 1994. And I don't know how he's going to feel about this introduction. I don't know if I'm going to hang up the phone, if I'm going to beg with me. But right now we have somebody that I consider an original reggae boy, Mr. Altimont Butler. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, man. Respect. Thanks for having me.
Z. So,
Watch a few of your shows, so it's a pleasure to be a part of it.
yeah, man. I know that it sounds like you're going. I know you're in the car, you're driving. So I want to say give thanks for passing through on the show with us, and it's an honor from my perspective to have you on the show. Somebody that I have said this many times, and come on, I'm gonna laugh. But know she feel a little bit ill right now, but you're gonna laugh. And I have always said this. And come on, you can tell Mr. Butler, say a lie, me I tell. Without Altimont Butler and without Paul Young, Jamaica would have never made the 1998 World Cup. Haven't I said that before? Come on.
He has. I will always laugh.
So, but Mr. Butler, tell us your true thing now.
Well, you say you have a good point still, because most people didn't know at the time. Me and Paul Young, was the only we call foreign base.
Yes.
The only two true professionals within the team. After then, Walter Boyd came and signed with Colorado Foxes. So we were the one who was really teaching, and we were the ones who brought the professionalism to the local base players. So when the Dion Burton and the Paul Hall and Fitzgerald Simpson came, everybody started saying them are the ones who brought professionalism into the team, which me and Paul Young was doing that even before. But I guess because we were born in Jamaica, nobody really looked at us as the ones who started that. So I think you have a great point saying that.
So come on the years say a true thing, right? And you see when I can remember when Altimont Butler was being introduced to the Jamaican crowd. And this is before YouTube, before Instagram, before social media. It was Jamaica is bringing in a professional footballer along with Paul Young. And this player speaks, I think they say like he speaks 5 languages at the time, or 6 languages, a very intelligent.
Yeah, I speak several languages because, I played in France for a while, played in Portugal, in Norway. So, I acquired a few languages in my journey.
Let's see.
Well, like you said, you have a strong point. When in the 80s when I was playing in France, nobody knew of Jamaicans playing in European Championship. So in the 90s when we have internet and everybody start doing that, we have traveled that road way before.
Right. So come on, do you have any questions of Mr. Butler? I know come on, you're under the weather, but when we have a star for the show, you have to forward and talk to the star, right?
So, Mr. Butler, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, come on. And yourself?
I could be doing better, but I'm happy to be here. Thanks for joining us. We've been trying to get it for the longest while, because we have a lot to talk about.
It's a pleasure.
So what do you think we can do to improve the level of professionalism in the youth football? We're not going to touch the senior team as yet. So when we're talking about from the U15s, the U17s, the U20s, and let's talk about the male part, because the female part, we're having issues kind of having, the continuity from youth to seniority. So what is it that we're missing from, we say Panama do it, because if you realize some of the senior players on the Panama senior team played for U17, U20. What can we do to continue that pipeline from the youth team to the senior team? What are we missing?
Well, first of all, we need exposure. I think a lot of our kids are not exposed to football at the pinnacle, at that level. So we need exposure and we need coaching. coaching, I think, is a big problem for us in Jamaica. There's talent, athletes are endless. So we need coaching and exposure, and we need to keep them in an environment where they've been taught the game, where they learn the game within the game. There's so much to the game that, even me myself, when I went to Chelsea as a coach the first time, and I was told that I'm coaching 3 teams. When I got the under 16 team, alas, so they have to break it down and say, listen, you have a 14-year-old who have the body of the 14-year-old. You have a 14-year-old that has the body of an 18-year-old. And the 14-year-old have a body of a 16-year-old. So their development is different. So we need coaches who need to be exposed to these things. We need to have the players in the right system so that they can grow as professionals.
Okay. All right. So do you see that happening maybe the next couple of years? Because, I mean, we understand. We recycle the same coaches, right? And we I think as personally, I have a problem with Issa. I think we focus too much on the schoolboy football of just winning trophies instead of developing our young men to be good footballers. Because you and I know that they're stars back home in Jamaica, but when they go overseas, they're lost. So they kick the
Yeah.
ball, they run it. I actually saw, I'm not going to call a name, a player in USL who used him to a point and kick the ball. And I'm like, these are the things that we need to kind of fix. So do you think that, yes, we need the exposure or whatever? Do you see this happening for us?
I didn't hear you clearly. Can you repeat that?
Yes, and do you see this happening for us in the near future?
We need a lot of investment. We need investment and we need to weed out some people.
Mm,
We have too much people right now, even in the diaspora, that is exposed to so much of football. And they're not getting the opportunity to impart that back in Jamaica. So we
right.
need to get rid of some people and we need proper investment and all these things to change the culture of our football.
That I don't. I personally, it's easier said than done. First, we have to fix the voting aspect. How they vote for people to be in power needs to be changed. If that not change, nothing else not change.
Nothing
We
not
just
change.
saw,
Yeah,
no, we
I
just
agree.
saw Atiba Harris win, and I even said to Lovell, what are you doing? I can be your campaign manager. We have to do something. But I
Yeah, man,
think
we
we need
need we
something.
need true football people behind the football. In every country. If you go into Germany, it's Beer off and them run it, and Campus run Mexico, Trevor Brooking and them run England, and we are the only country that former footballers don't have a say in football.
Right. Yeah. So they have to change the voting block. That's how I see it. But I don't know. I mean, like, it is crazy. And I just think if we don't qualify for the World Cup in this cycle, I think heads need to be rolling. I mean, that's simple. Because we have the players on paper. We have the players. Nobody can say we not have a good team. We really have a good team. So if we not make the adjustment and we not qualify, I just think that people just need to start get chopped.
I agree with you because I think for after 98 we are probably 15 years behind. So I can imagine if we don't qualify now, we go another 15. So we're probably
Yeah.
up to 30 or 40 years behind.
And
You know that is something that I have a question for you now, Mr. Butler, because come on and me and my brethren Sean are fighting in the group, and I just need a frank answer. Your World Cup cycle, the talent in that Jamaican team. I have an argument that my argument is that Jamaican team is less talented. We have seen more talented teams come to the cycle, but don't get the support that is necessary for them to succeed. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, the 98 team had a very good support, a very good support system. So I think that kind of make a bit of difference to it. 98.
And I always like and me personally have always been calling for that private sector because I remember there was an adopt the player campaign that happened in 95, 96, I believe, where the private sector came in and adopted players to support them. I don't see that now, but um
But that's what we use to qualify, right?
right.
So I don't know why we go away from that.
I think
Nobody wants to support losers. Call a spade a spade. That's how it is. I see they pump so much money in schoolboy football. Do you know? I talk about this all the time, because I am very critical, and I guess I get punished more than anybody else because I'm so critical. I see Jamaican people tear down the walls for go in for go watch schoolboy football, and they have to beg them to come watch the national team. When you see the reaction from fans about football, it is so negative. Look here, when I went to the Women's World Cup, we couldn't get a jersey to buy. People were asking for the merchandise. There was no thought, nothing put into the football. So yes, businessmen are good to run a business, but we need footballers who understand the sport.
Come on.
We don't
Yeah,
have that.
I've been saying that.
We don't
I've
have
been
that.
saying that for because football business and the business of football is two different things, you know. And I don't think in Jamaica we get that.
No, the jerseys, we can't get the jerseys to buy easily and readily. I have American co-workers who ask me for jersey for buy. And then Panama coming out our place, come film a promo. You see it? Panama get a drone and film a promo at the office. It is crazy. So I just don't understand how we expect to go for nobody is backing losers, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't put my money on a lame ass. Would you?
Well, from playing in high school, my coach Big Carl used to tell me that people love winners, you know. People don't like losers.
And that's what we see, and it's unfortunate. But until we start to give fans, the belief that we can succeed, then you can't get the support, and you can't blame people for not spending their money.
and Andre Stevens is saying bookmakers of Jamaica's favorite. LaShawn Jones saying we need more youth football. Keep your comments coming, people. And Mr. Butler, we can sit down and complain and fight, and we are all on the same page about Jamaican football. But I have a question for you right now.
Sure.
What is your most memorable moment as a Jamaican footballer?
Well, you know, being a part of the World Cup team and qualifying for the World Cup, then that would always be one of my most memorable moments.
I want. What about that one moment in your career that you can look back and has there been a turning point in your career where you can point your finger that say, I'm happy I made this decision?
Well, going to Guadeloupe, you remember, I don't know if you know that straight out of high school, I went to Guadeloupe. So going into Guadeloupe, making that transition from a schoolboy, I think that's one of the highlights in my career and one of the best things I've ever done.
So
Because you know that enabled me to travel throughout Europe and throughout the world to play football.
and one thing that you should know and is it come on under the weather should not make you know right now, but it's come on, she's a huge Chelsea fan.
Okay.
So
Okay. So
are you a
I
Chelsea fan?
I guess me have to go get some gears for come on.
Oh,
Yes, Junior. I mean, yes, you Chelsea fan. When Lampard was there, I was so. Anyways, we're not touching on that. We're Champion League winner. They can't talk to me this year. We're winning everything this season, so I'm a huge fan.
Well,
But
two of my
you
players, Tommy and Mason, played for me at the U16 level.
really.
Yeah, yeah. So
Huh?
I coached them when they were playing on the U16 team for Chelsea. Even
But,
Reese.
but even though Tommy is gone, then you should be
Yeah,
proud because he's doing
yeah,
very
yeah.
well.
Watching the Champions League finals was a proud moment to know that. I was able to coach those two kids when they
I
when they.
wasn't so I wasn't sold on Mason Mount with Lampard. I thought there was a little bit of favoritism, but then after Lampard left and he got the opportunity to really show that he belonged there, so I was a little bit unfair to the young man. I must admit it.
Yeah,
And
he
I
was always special. He was always special.
Well, that is good. So yeah, man, link me up with the Chelsea's stuff, man. Because even when I came there, came to England during the Women's World Cup. I went
Yeah,
over and I toured the stadium. So it was a really
yeah.
listen. I'm a football crazy person. I've
We'll,
all the
we'll,
time.
we'll talk about that after year. I hope
We
you.
we definitely will. But what is your prediction tonight? Do you think that we will 3-1 is far
I,
fetched?
I
Us?
don't want to predict. I don't want to predict anything. I would just hope that we just win and get the 3 points.
I, I I think we definitely have this in the bag. Even though Panama is not really a team that we should underestimate.
We,
I
we have been getting results against Panama.
we have to. I mean, we need to, because right now we're bottom of the table. And the Mexico game was a good game to get a point from. So we are disappointed that we didn't get that 1 point.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So, Mr. Butler, I know that your time is limited with us, and I really appreciate the time that you came on. But what you have going on, because for somebody that you that are in the coaching circle, what what do you have going on right now professionally?
Oh, right now I'm working as the technical director for Port St. Lucie United within the youth club. So I also coach the U16 and the senior team in the UPSL. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, you make it come on, you make it so
Make it
nonchalant and
so are you scouting and sending players to, or recommending players to the Jamaican national team, youth team?
No. I don't have any part in that. I think one of the big problem we have within the national team is our scouting department. It's very, I think it's very poor because we have players who played a few internationals before. We have players who played in the Gold Cup, 2 Gold Cups, couldn't make the 3rd Gold Cup. So sometimes when you look at some of the players that they call in, you have to wonder then, oh, this player passed that player there, fair play. Even look in the last game in Mexico, like we had some players who they weren't called into the Gold Cup, yeah, but from the Gold Cup they get to play and start over players who you brought into the Gold Cup. That it don't make any sense to me.
Hey, look here. I don't want to touch that enough, because if you watch the previous program, then you realize that I am the one who always beat them on it. I think it is not merit based, and I don't want to sound harsh or mean, but as a fan looking in, you ask the questions, because I have a segment that is yard ballers, right? So my job is to watch all of the USL game, them, which is madness, and the Red Stripe Premier League. And you have like a Nico Brett, you have like a Henardo Forbes. So when you talk about, even though you hear people talk about, okay, USL players are, they don't hold them in high regard, which we understand. Everybody can have their opinions. But if you have a player like Nico Brett, who is consistently regarded as a goal scorer in USL, if you have a Kenardo Forbes, who is always talked about, he's always in the top 5 as a midfielder in USL. He's the assist king in USL. You have a Lambert, who is
Oh,
good enough.
all
You
right.
see what I'm saying?
Come on, I know where you're going with this. Let me cut you for a second, yeah? You mentioned a Lambert. He played in 2 Gold Cup already, right? And he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
called to this Gold Cup. And he's 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For the last 18 games for Phoenix, he started 17 of 18. But
Mm-hmm.
yet, Peter Vassell is someone who I love. But Peter started 5 of 18 games for his club.
Mm-hmm.
Kenardo Forbes, who is number 1 midfielder or top midfielder last season.
Yep.
In the league, in the same league that he is overshining some of these players. He cannot get a call to the national team. So who is doing this scouting?
Hey,
Nico
hey,
Brett scored-
I have
Nico Brett
my
scored
I have my
24
theory.
games. if we're in the same, we're talking about players from the same league. How you end up calling a player who only started 5 of 18 games over players who are playing day in, day out?
But only that too. And I like Peter Lever, so I think he's a nice young man. But remember, he was off for 1 year as well, and so he came back now, and he's integrating himself back into Indy 11. Who him get called over Lambert and Kennard? And I have my theories, but I'm gonna leave it right there. So, but listen, and that's why I think it is so unfair. And players are just saying, listen, I'm just going to start making my money to take care of me and my family. Forget about the national team because it doesn't matter what I do. It's like it's baseless. You can't talk. Romara is a good player. How Romara get a call over Nico Brett, who is consistent for Birmingham?
Another thing. Good mention. Romaro hasn't played for the national team since 2018. 3 years ago was his last international game, right? Mm-hmm. You weren't called to the Gold Cup, but now I bring you in a very important game in one of the toughest places to play, and you start, and then I made some substitution, and I took players out that played for me in the World Cup, and I trust Romaro to play over these players. Mm-hmm. Something wrong. You understand?
Yes, it is not based on merit, and until the program starts to invite people and play people based on merit, we're going to still have this problem because you can't just throw in people because you know the agent or you're them a friend or whatever. It has to be merit-based so people can have confidence in the program. And we just don't have confidence in the program, and that is the problem.
I agree. Yeah, because what if I'm the leading goal scorer in Jamaica? I don't get a call just because.
I said it last thing. I said Akwasa Chong. He's the leading goal scorer in the West Right Premier League. If we're talking about players in the local league, how you call a Ricardo Morris over Akwasa Chong? If you're talking, you have 35 slots. And you don't call a leading goal scorer, you call a man where
what is his merit? Why should I play then? Why should I bother to play if I'm the leading goal scorer in the national competition and you don't call me? It's I would like to do the scouting for the national team.
It makes no sense. There's no scouts. I mean, like I think I saw where Simon Preston says he scouts for the national program, and I'm like, okay. I mean, like making a call to two persons, asking them interested is not really scouting, but that's okay.
That's a joke.
It has to be merit based, or it's not going to make sense.
Yeah, man. If we scout, we have to scout proper. We have to look at who is playing and who is playing where and who is doing what. And you get called on a merit base.
Yeah. Lambert. Even if we can say sometimes Lambert have some lapses and whatever. First of all, Peter don't defend. Him not trap back. Him not defend. And you have a Lambert. Vassal don't defend. He don't trap back. And a Lambert is a marshal. He marshals the field, and that's a player that you want on both ends of the pitch. And you don't call him for 135 flat.
But Lambert played 2 back-to-back World Cup, and the third one he's still 24. And just like you mentioned earlier, how do we get players to come through this system? Lambert is already in the system. Let's bring them through the system. And there's oftentimes too many young players that we brought in. They play 1 or 2 games and then we discard them. Yeah. So players not coming through the system and growing with the national program, and that's why we always.
And I tell you, and Panama does that because I remember some of these players playing with my son at the U17 level. So I understand, and it is frustrating. But what you must do, if you're a fan of the Reggae Boyz, you have to stick with them to stick and thin and just hope something happens.
And that is the key thing. That is the key thing. We have to support them through thick and thin. And but you know what, Mr. Butler, one question. And again, thanks for giving us this much time, but. If you were to be in control, like how your past teammate Paul Hall, Theodore Whitmore is on the coaching staff right now. Let's say that some miracle was supposed to happen, and we bring in a true footballer, somebody that is proven, somebody that know how to build a program like yourself, and bring them into JFF. What would be your ideal, or what would be your first changes that you make?
That's a brilliant question. We change the head. We change the people who want the football.
See that, and
Hold on a second before you run. The lineup versus Panama is out. I can shout it out for you.
I
Yeah,
was
man.
about to
Right.
talk about it.
All right. So we have Andre Blake, Wesley Harding, Ethan Pinnock, Liam Moore, Hemar Lawrence, Ravel Morrison, Daniel Johnson, Bobby Reed, Hemar Roof, Corey Burke, and Mikel Antonio.
Why is Nicholson on the bench?
Powell, Fisher, Nicholson Flemings, Barnes Brown, Turgot, Walker McGee, Mariappa Williams Taylor on the bench.
Why is Nicholson
So,
on the
so,
bench? That is my
so we
first
have,
But
question.
it's a strong 11. You know why Nicholson on the bench?
we
Because Corey Bird is more like a defensive striker. I hate to say that term, but him of the muscle.
yeah, man, him show a lot of tenacity in defending, you know. So,
He's a defensive striker.
yeah, man.
That is the
Or the,
definition of
or the
action word.
lineups down to you, Mr. Butler.
Well, I can't wait for see it, you know. How it sung to me right now really don't really matter, you know, because we just need to see that we can get this 3 points tonight, you know. So whoever we put on the field, we have to just make sure that we win this game tonight and get 3 points.
Manners family. Big up to the boss, Mr. Butler, Altimont Butler, the general night building. Come on, Junior, Wagwan family.
Why the man
Let's
reach?
up yourself.
Yo, long time. Reggae Boyz ready up, Mr. Butler. Boy, come like me need to get a jersey for sign from you know. We need an autograph. Engineer, set you up now.
Yeah, that's not a problem. We can organize that, you know.
Yeah, man. But by the way, we just want to respect the work, man. Really love the work that you're doing over the years. What you're growing up as a kid, and of course the things that you guys did in the '98, World Cup, making it to the World Cup. You know, some man celebrate Messi and Ronaldo, not to say them people that are general, but you guys are our generals, you know, because you guys did something that a long time people have tried to do that for Jamaican football. So hopefully this team can take it further, you know.
Yeah, man, I hope so too, you know, because like come on, say if we don't qualify for this one, you know, it's gonna be a big step back.
Yes, and ultimately, as we push closer to the game, by the way, big up to the family joining us on Flow Sports and everywhere on YouTube, Facebook. Big up. Sorry, I'm late, family. Um, what do you think ultimately went wrong? I just have one question because of '98. The '98, we got a lot of money. Of course, the match, the funds from the individual matches at the '98 World Cup. We got a FIFA Gold Project money. Subsequently after that World Cup, it's essential for teams like Jamaica, etc. Once you make a World Cup, you use that financial resources to build better. What went wrong with that money, and what did we did so poorly, so we don't make the same mistake
You,
10 years from now if we qualify for this World Cup?
you just say it. You just say it. You know, usually you'll take that financial support to build and do better, right?
Yeah,
I think that's the answer. We didn't take the financial support to build and do better.
and if we do make it to this World Cup, is there any measures, anything in place to prevent us from being the same place again? I try to recruit UB 40 years from now. I mean, I give thanks to Kimar Rove, Mikel Antonio. We don't know what these players are going to do once they get on the grass, right? But we give them credit for step forward. But ultimately, what you would like to have is a program where you have your youths on the island coming through the ranks, where you can coalesce around a team, where you don't have to depend on flying people in and travel all over the globe to find people. And so how do we prevent,
Well,
if we make it to this World Cup?
well, we had a formula that we used in '98 that worked, right? So we had a bunch of local based players in camp, and we trained together and play a lot of friendlies. And They were pretty much like a full-time team training. I think that work. So we can always go back to that on the local side. But I don't see no way we should name a squad of 35 players and not at least 5, 6, 7 local based players are in the team. There's no way that should be possible. There's no way we should be traveling with a party of 26 players and we don't have at least 5 local based players in the team. So that's showing that like there's no reason for them to play football if you're not getting selected. And if we are selecting these players, they have the opportunity to go out. Now we export those 5 and then we bring another 5 into the system. So if we're just relying on the overseas based players, the growth of our football in the country, it's gonna die.
Yeah.
Because nobody would have nothing to be playing for.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that we have to use these players because it's not their fault that they were born overseas.
Oh yeah. We definitely understand it because ultimately it's a means to an end. I mean, the school of thought is that the local players can't really get us to the World Cup. These professionals might be able to get us to the World Cup, but ultimately, if we do get to the World Cup, and on paper, there are many that believe that Jamaica definitely have a squad that can place in the top 3 in CONCACAF. If we do make it to the World Cup with these players, the opportunity will be there to not have the same issues 10 years on the road where we have red list problem with now UK red list and we have one side I go Mexico and another side, because we never know what will happen to try to build the local program better. But looking forward to the game tonight. I mean, I am with you 100%. I don't care what the score is, just score one more goal than Panama. I don't care what it's 22-21. I do not care. We
right
just
now, we don't even look for any entertainment or anything. We need
nothing. I people want pretty ball. I don't care.
No. We don't want no Bukiaga. We don't want no Bukiaga football. I am sorry. I want to enjoy the game.
On. If you watch the last few games, I think we've been playing Bukiaga football. I think we played worse in the last 2 World Cups. So we've been playing Bukiaga football. So right now we need more 3 points than anything else.
So you want a dirty win. You don't want a pretty loss.
Right now, just anywhere we are going, even if we have a thief.
Yeah, I mean, even if I won't feel advantage.
We not have VAR. But you know what, too? Touching on the point with the local players, like recycling, it not only will it benefit the national program, and it will benefit the families of these local players when they get to go overseas and play. But I think if they come back and they use what they've learned overseas in the local football scene, I think it also improves the game back home. Because I don't know if you watch the restaurant Premier, some 2-foot challenge, some up in the air, whatever, some just crazy football. What was that?
So I always think they're gonna hurt one another.
Yes. So we have to really see if we can send the players overseas to kind of learn, and it's kind of hard, So when you know this too, because you have to teach good habits when they're young, because then when they become like 30 or 28 or whatever, it's already set. So some of the things they really can't unlearn it. So I understand what you're saying, where we have to drag the local footballers along with us so we can improve. We can't just leave them behind. There's no way on earth the leading goal scorer should not at least be sitting on the bench now. Even on the bench. I mean, like everybody's bawling about bring Maggie. Listen, this is not high school football. And of course, Maggie is a talented young man, but I think that final portion, he's just not at it right now. I would bring the leading goal scorer.
But if you go back to Maggie, how many games have he played in Belgium?
He's just in Belgium.
Zero.
Listen, Jamaica's only one for know say him that Belgium. Ride the bench, don't score no goal, don't provide no assist, but bring him.
That's exactly what we talk about, the scouting. He's in Belgium, and after 2 years, he still haven't even started a proper game or played a game. So what does it merit him to be drafted into the senior national.
in not in Red Stripe Premier League. I think that's it. Listen, when I referee, so I referee some like a DVD beside them in a Maryland. And when I hear the parents on the sideline, I just want to hear a hint of Jamaican and them little boys, I go over and I say, oh, and them I'm watch them little picnic and see if them picnic have little skills. I go over and say, are you interested in playing for Jamaica? So me get all two and three of them to send go home. For, I think it was Andrew. Andrew used them and I'm U20. But after a while, they get lost. The kids are not interested anymore. The program just not gone away. And the kids are, we miss out on the talent. So I don't know. Listen, when my son wanted to play, an email scan is a phone call from a friend to get a hookup. That's just how it is. And you're right, we have to change at least that small portion, and then we can see. We're tired of them. We're tired of them. Tired.
Well, like we said still, when Mr. Butler is ready to go and take over the JFF, the
I don't
whole,
put a target on him back now, but the foolishness.
the,
But with it.
the whole of we going to fly down and cast a vote and link up who we need to link up and say forward and make we set the thing properly. But Mr.
Mr.
Butler,
Butler don't make Junior boost up like stuff again here. Don't follow him. Don't follow him at all. But the vote is not so the voting work, Junior. The voting have to change first before we talk about
come on,
getting somebody who understands the football.
come on, we'll make two link, man. Don't worry yourself. Everything good. Everything. I we just wait for Mr. Butler to say ready. But Mr. Butler, I want to say thank you very much for joining with us. And I know you say you're going to be on for the very first part of the show, and you practically been on for pretty much the whole show. So
It made me chat him out, but I like it.
yeah, well, but
Yeah, man, we enjoy it, man. It's a pleasure, and thanks for having me.
yeah, and we need you back on in because our Sunday show we have a segment called Ballers and Bugs where we talk world football. Today is dedicated to
Okay.
Jamaican football. But every Sunday we talk world football, so the door is always open. Anything that you have going on that you want to get out to the masses, you have our 100% support. You don't even have a question that, Mr. Butler.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. Just keep me in the loop and let me know whenever possible, and I'll be more than happy to join you guys again.
Definitely, and I'm really looking forward to you giving Camon and Nicholas Anelka jersey.
I don't want an Anelka jersey. I don't
No,
want an Anelka jersey.
I'll give you the bring on some of the Chelsea stuff.
No, you know who are my favorite Chelsea player again?
Who's that?
I met him at Phoenix. When him there at Phoenix.
Oh, Drogba.
That's my favorite. That's my
Okay.
favorite footballer, Chelsea footballer.
Yeah, man.
Alti, just give her one of Christian Pulisic jersey, the Captain America,
Come
she
on.
has said.
Absolutely
Captain
not.
America.
In America.
Yeah, Captain America, she has said. And she
Absolutely
fit,
not.
and she fit
Come on.
perfectly in a Maryland.
I have some personal stuff from you see, the ME, Michael Emenalo.
Mm-hmm.
Can get you some of these the with a full gear.
Hey, look here. Don't make me stalk you like white and rice. No, promise me now.
So make we talk after here and I can get set.
Okay. Definitely.
All right.
Because personally I don't wear them.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a Jersey girl. I appreciate it very much, Mr. Butler. Don't be a stranger. If you want a campaign manager, you know where to reach me. I am very good at it.
All right, we'll talk.
All right,
All right,
Mr. Butler,
take care.
give
Bless
thanks.
up, bless up, family.
Yeah, I like the laid back atmosphere and everything. Cool,
Yeah.
But not for sport.
Before you let go, I know 1 minute. The other teams, because there are 7 teams in this qualifying final round. Your quick assessment of the other teams. I mean, Mexico and USA are the standard bearer, but your thoughts on the other 7.
I think the other teams are beatable. Canada is a team we pretty much have to watch because in the World Cup they played some very good football. Honduras themselves is competing. I think Costa Rica they're a bit shaky. Mexico themselves haven't really gotten it right thus far. But El Salvador is always a game that we can at least pull it out, especially playing at home. It's not gonna be easy, but I think the teams that we should look out for is the Canadian and the US team.
All right. Let's say Qatar by bus or train. We just have to reach.
Yeah, we just have to reach.
We just have to reach. All right.
I say even if we have to get 2 calls tonight, we'll take it.
We'll take it. I just a win. We don't care. Pretty football, bongo ball is just a win.
Yeah, we can talk to Cameroon about the style of play later on.
Them think they can't go sit down with them thing they right now. But pretty ball.
Wait, we take the formation 9-1. A 9-1 formation.
Bless up, family.
Yeah, man. Respect, man. And thanks for having me.
Give thanks, Mr. Butler. Bless up.
All right, respect.